So in today's video, we're doing an experiment, and it's an experiment that deals with the riddle that you've probably heard about. If you take a boat out into the water and it's got a rock in it, and you throw the rock overboard, what happens to the level of water? Does it go up, go down, or stay the same? And I have my daughter JoJo here to help me. She helped with the experiment, even did some drawings to help explain the concept or the theory behind this. So in the first slide, we just have an empty container in a glass vase. Since it is a glass vase and I do have to drop a rock into it, I did put bubble wrap on the bottom. But in this first slide, it's just a glass vase filled with water, and we put an empty boat or empty container in there. And we did mark the level of the water with this piece of tape, and we put a little black mark. And so that way we could kind of keep track of where we started the experiment. So, JoJo, for the second part of the experiment, what did we then do?
We put a rock in the cup.
We put a rock into the cup, and then you took a picture of the rock in the cup, and then what we did is we recorded the new level of the water. And what happened to the level of water when you put the rock in the cup?
It went up.
It went up, and so
and
we put
the cup sank.
The cup sank down some, that's right. And so we put a new piece of tape and also put a little black mark, and so we can see how much that water level went up. Now, for the next part of the experiment, we were then simulating what happens if you were to then throw the rock outside of the boat. And so, JoJo, you did that part of it. And what we noticed so now the vessel is empty, and the rock is now at the bottom with the rest of the rocks and the bubble wrap. And we put a new piece of tape on here, and we show that the level is still higher than what it was when we just had the empty vessel in there without the extra rock, but it actually dropped down from when we had the rock inside of the vessel. And so basically, that's your answer to the riddle that the water goes down. Now, JoJo drew some pictures that can help explain why this is occurring. And JoJo, can you explain your picture here?
Well, my cat and I were sailing through a little lake.
And what is this in the boat?
A rock.
A rock, and you guys are floating on the lake. And so inside the boat, there's JoJo, there's Maddie, and there's a rock. Okay. And so if you guys are floating, now one of the things that's going to be the same in our experiment would be the weight of the boat, weight of JoJo, and then the weight of Maddie. So we're really just going to focus on the rock. Okay, and a rock is more dense than water. So if it's floating, we know that an equal amount or an amount of water, or the weight of the water that's displaced, has to be equal to the weight of the rock, right? And so since a rock is more dense than water, it's roughly about 2.5 times the density of water. We know that it has to displace about 2.5 times the volume of the rock. Okay. Now, JoJo, you drew another picture to describe the second part of the experiment. Can you explain what's going on in this picture?
So Maddie and I kept on sailing, and we decided that we were sinking too far down, so we threw the rock out.
Okay. And did Maddie help you throw the rock out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's good. You didn't throw Maddie out the boat, so that's good. Are we supposed to throw cats out the boat?
No.
No, not at all. Okay. Now, JoJo, you had given me an explanation about what the water does when you put a rock into the water. And do you remember what you said that the water does? That the water
gets out of the rock's way.
It gets out of the rock's way, and that's a really good explanation of that. And so the reason why the water level goes down when you throw the rock into the lake is because the only amount of water that needs to be displaced is not the weight of the rock, it's actually just the volume of the rock. So Whereas before you had to displace 2.5 times the volume of the rock. When you put the rock in the water, you're only having to displace 1 time the volume of the rock. So thanks, Jojo, for helping with the experiment, and thanks for the wonderful pictures that you drew.